So for the HTML part, I have already created the file inside my Visual Studio Code. So you can see that here is the index.html, style.css and script.js file. And I have also launched this project inside my web browser. You can see it here. And I have also launched the final version of the application that we want to build. Okay. And these files are also linked, that is the CSS file, and this is for the script.js file. Now one more thing that I want to do it here, like this particular link tag. So we need to paste this link tag so that we can get this particular copy icon. That is actually I have told you in the preview part of this particular course. Means the preview part of this particular module, which is the password generator module. So if you not watched it, then I will highly recommend you to watch that first. Okay, so that will be good for you because you just need to simply Google it, and then whatever icon you will like, you just need to copy that link of the icon and paste it here, so that when we create our application we get this icon. Otherwise you will get here a text, and then you need to set the listener to that particular text. Okay, so the first step is we need to actually, like in the all projects that we have did here, we first need to create the container, and inside of the container we need to place all the other elements. Okay, so coming back to the our version of the application, so here first I will be typing the container. Okay, so it's like container, and then inside of the container we need to place the elements. That is actually our first element, which is the heading. So it's going to be like h1 element, which is called password generator. Okay, so this is the password generator, and now the next one is we need, it's actually the input box. So we need to create here a division, then we need to place here a class attribute, then this is going to be like input box. Inside of that we need to provide the input type. So input, and then we need to define the type here text, because we want to apply all the things like special character, numbers, everything we want. So that is the reason we are going to select the input type as text. Then we need to provide the class. So the class is going to like pass box, and then we need to provide the id. So id I am also going to provide the air pass box. Okay, and then we need to provide the input type, which is going to be the disabled. So if you didn't specify the disable, then you can enter the values inside of that, but we actually want to restrict it. So that is the reason I am actually here apply the disabled. Alright, and then we need to provide the span element. So this is actually a span, not span, it's like span element, and inside of the span element first we need to specify the class. Then here I need to provide the class which is called material icon, and then we need to provide the id. So id, and inside of that we need to provide the copy icon. Okay, and after that we need to here specify the text content copy, or I can say that the underscore content copy. Control save it, then you can see we gets our icon. Alright, so that is for this particular part of the project, which is the input type. Now we need to actually provide this indicator as well. This is actually a division that we actually want to update. So if the length of the password is like smaller than like 10 or 12, then it is actually display the red, and if the password is like medium, means the password is intermediately strong, which is actually greater than 12 I think, then it's going to display the yellow. And if we increase the password length, then if it is like 23, then you can see it's actually a very strong password. Alright, so we also want to add this particular functionality. So for that we have to here create the another division. So make sure you are outside of the input box division, and then here we need to provide the another division, and then here we need to provide the class. Inside of that we need to provide here a pass indicator, password indicator, and then we need to here provide the id, and here I'm going to provide the pass indicator as again, but in this one we are going to use the camel case typing. Alright, so this is for the password indicator. Right now you can't see anything because we are going to update these values by using the CSS and the JavaScript. Now after that we have to actually add this range slider, because it is actually an input type range, so that we can actually use this to actually change the password strength. Alright, so we want this one. So after the end of the division for the password indicator, we need to here provide the input type. So input, then the type we need to here use the range. Alright, so this is going to be the input type range. Then we have to provide the minimum value is going to be 1, and then we need to provide here a maximum value which is going to be 30, because the maximum password that we want is actually a 30 character long. You can change according to your need. Then the default value that we want is actually a 6, and after that we need to add the step, means how much it's going to increase its value. So we want to increase the value after 1 by 1, means 1 2 3. So we want to increment the value, then that is, and then we need to add the id. This is going to be like input slider that will be used inside the JavaScript. Alright, so after doing it, then we need to create here a row. Now why we need to create the row? Because you can see right now this is actually a one like division, or you can use another paragraph element tag. You can achieve it in many ways, but at this point of time I will be using the paragraph element inside the division. So here we need to create another div tag, and inside of the div I need to provide the class, and then we have to here use the row. Alright, and then we need to provide the paragraph tag, which is like password. We need to add the span tag, the span, and here we need to specify the id, which is going to be like slider value. Alright, so this is going to be display the slider value. So if we come back to the other version of the application, we get the password length, we get the range bar, we get this, but right now you can't see the slider values, means the text view, that is this one, because this value will be updated on the basis of the slider up and down, means the slider left and right. Alright, that will be updated once we are going to do the JavaScript. So the next thing is we need to add the another row. Now these rows is actually for this particular one, that is for this include lowercase character. So we want to add the another row here. So if I come back to the other version of the application, like division, and then again I'm going to create here some spaces, then we need to here provide the class, which is row. Okay, and inside of that we need to use the label, not label, it's actually a label tag. So it is the first one is for the numbers, then we need to here provide the text that we want to display to our application, which is include numbers. Alright, and then we need to specify here 0 to 9. Alright, so this is the numbers. Then we need to here use the input type. So input type, not type, it is like input type checkbox. Alright, so we want to use here a checkbox. Now the first one is actually, in my opinion, is the lowercase. So here we need to change it to lowercase, not number. The first one is for the lowercase. So here I will be writing include lowercase letters, and then we need to here provide the A to Z. Okay, this is for the include lowercase, and input type checkbox. Then we need to provide the name to lowercase. Then we need to also provide the id to lowercase. Alright, and then the value that we want is actually checked. If I save it, and you can see we get this default value checked. If we don't specify here checked, then it's actually unchecked value will be displayed inside the browser. Okay, so this is the first row for the lowercase, and here we also need to provide the type, which is checkbox. We have provided the lowercase id, so everything is correct. Next we need to copy this particular row, and then I'm going to paste it one more time, and at this point of time it is going to like include uppercase character. So it is like uppercase letters, and then we are going to provide a capital A and capital Z. Alright, then this is numbers, checkboxes, then here we need to provide the uppercase, and then the id is going to provide uppercase. Okay, then we also want the checked value. Again, we have already copied the code and it is actually present inside the clipboard, so I'm going to paste it one more time. Then the next one is actually include numbers, and here we need to provide the numbers value, which is like 0 to 9, and then we need to here specify the numbers, and then we also need to specify the id to numbers. Okay, so for numbers, now here we need to actually change it to lowercase, because the first time I actually specify the numbers, then this one is for the uppercase. So this is the problem that I have here fixed now. Now again we need to copy this one and paste it one more time. Now this particular one is for the include special symbols. Alright, so include symbols, and then we need to here provide the add the rate to asterisk, not exclamation. We actually want the add the rate one. Okay, so it's actually symbols. So here we want to add the symbols, then the input type checkbox, then the name is going to be like symbols, and then the ID we also want a symbol. So you can see right now the symbols check view also appeared, means a symbol checkbox input type is also appeared to the browser, but we don't want a checked value, we want a simple value. Alright, so now the basics are actually done. Next time to actually specify this particular button as well. So coming back to the other version of the application. So after the end of this particular row, we have to here specify the button. So button, so I'm going to here specify the class like genBTN, and then we need to specify the ID, which is also going to like genBTN, which is for the generate BTN, and in short I write it as genBTN. Then here we need to call the generate, and if I control save it, you can see we get the generate password button as well. Alright, so that marks the completion of the code for the entire HTML part for this password generator application. So from the next part, we're going to start with the CSS part for this password generator application, or you can say that the generate random password application.